Welcome back, everybody, to the New York Knicks, MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K22. We've made it to the end of the calendar year, which means it's the holiday season. It's Christmas time. We play on Christmas later in today's episode against the Sixers. As it stands now, we are 14-19, which is the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference and the 7th worst record overall in the NBA. If we remain in the bottom of the standings, we're really going to be focusing on draft positioning as the year goes along. We currently have up to 4 first-round picks this season. We have our own pick, a protected Mavericks pick, and although they're not showing up here, in real life, the Knicks have heavily protected picks from the Wizards and Pistons. Those 2 picks probably won't convey this season, but we have, long story short, plenty of first-round picks and plenty of second-round picks over the next few years, and that's going to be relevant here because we really want to develop through the draft. And today we're going to be getting our first look at the 2023 NBA draft class. We're going to be focusing in on the current projected top 10 picks today, and then as we go along through the season, we're going to really deep dive through the entire draft class. Today we're just focusing in on the top projected picks. I think it's safe to say there is a ton of talent at the top of this year's draft class. However, with that being said, it does feel like there is a clear consensus number 1 pick as of now, that being Christopher Killebrew, the center out of Kansas. Killebrew was the number 1 high school prospect in this year's draft class and decided to sign with the reigning national champion Jayhawks. This kid is 7'3" with a, wait for it, 8-foot wingspan. His size and length is unbelievable. It gives him so much upside, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. Surprisingly, he wasn't that tall of a kid growing up, and he grew up playing guard. So he has guard-like abilities as a ball handler, as a passer, and as a shooter. If he can be a little bit more consistent on the offensive end, along with his defensive upside, there's no reason to think this kid can't be a truly generational talent in the NBA. He's not the most natural athlete, but with his size and length, that really makes up for it, and whoever gets the number 1 pick and wins the draft lottery will pretty much no doubt be selecting Killebrew. After him, there is still plenty of talent for the teams who lose out on the Christopher Killebrew sweepstakes, including Italian point guard Cesar De Carlo. He's a really intriguing young player, super athletic, great playmaker, one of the best passers in the class, very solid scorer as well. He needs to be a little quicker, particularly on defense, as shown by that possession right there. But in transition, he can make a lot of plays. He's a good ball handler, inconsistent but good scorer. He currently plays for Virtus Bologna in Italy, which is the same team that former top high school prospect Nico Mannion plays for. And a totally unrelated side note, Nico Mannion follows me on Twitter. I don't know why, but Nico, if you're watching this, I hope you're doing well. But back to the point, DeCarlo looks like the second best prospect in the draft, and as of now, I do think he goes number 2. After that, there's a whole bunch of players who are pretty much in the same tier, and that starts with Walter, or as he normally goes by, Wally Knotts III. Knotts has taken the SEC by storm. He's a really tough and gritty on-ball defender. He hasn't always been the most consistent scorer throughout his pre-college career, but this year at Tennessee, his efficiencies have been really impressive. I think he's going to come back down to earth offensively, and because of that, I don't think he's going to quite be the 3rd overall pick. But I do think his floor is really high. He's a very well-rounded player without many true weaknesses. Great defender, pretty solid scorer, good enough playmaker, pretty good athlete. There's not really any red flags to his game, which is certainly a big deal. The Duke Blue Devils are by far the most talented team in college basketball, and their best player is freshman forward Jamison Zander. Zander leads the Blue Devils in pretty much every major statistical category, which is impressive because they're probably going to have 3 or 4 first-round picks in this year's upcoming class. The Blue Devils have not lost a single game this year, led by Zander. What a dunk there in their opening day win against Kansas. He needs to be a little bit more consistent as an outside shooter, although I do think his three-point shooting is better than the D grade he gets credit for here. He's a pretty versatile defender. He's good on the perimeter, but he can switch down low if needed, and is a really impressive athlete. Zymer Donaldson out of Auburn might be the best pure scorer in this draft class. He's a 3-level scorer who can put the ball in the bucket from all areas of the floor. One of the best three-point shooters in the class. He can drive to the basket. He's got a big bag of offensive moves, as the kid says, And in transition, he is a deer in headlights, and you do not want to get in his way when he's going to the basket. 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan. He's got great length, pretty solid defender as well. You see a lot of these score-first guards who aren't great defensively or aren't great as playmakers, but Donaldson fills both of those up. And although he's projected as the 5th best prospect in the draft, I think he's going to be a top 3 pick. I think he's that good. Ches Reckingworth from Illinois is another very intriguing prospect. What I like most about his game is his ability offensively to create for himself, but along with others. Really good passer. Look at this absolute dime in the corner to the open shooter in transition. He's a little bit inconsistent as a scorer, but he's got great range. He's got a good form to his shot, which suggests that he will improve as a shooter once he makes it to the NBA. He has a C- mid-range and a D three-pointer, but I think his shooting is better than those grades give him credit for. 6'10" with a 7'4" wingspan. I do think he has the size and quickness to defend on the perimeter and down low, and that versatility defensively is a big deal in the modern NBA. I think Jaden Lewis-Cameron might be the biggest wild card in this draft for a number of reasons. He was supposed to play for the Overtime Elite League this season. However, he's been sidelined all year with an ankle injury, so the most recent film we have on him is at the Pro-Am crossover event back in August. It is a Pro-Am game, so it's not the most important, but he played really well in this game against multiple NBA players. His skill set is also very wild card-esque because his draft range is all over the place. He's a 6'7" forward, but he's got the offensive ability of a point guard. Good ball handler, great vision, great passer. I could see him going in the top 5, but I also could see him going out of the lottery. That's how wide his draft range is as of now. Levi Beauregard, the German forward, is the prototypical modern NBA wing. He is 6'10". He's got a really nice shooting stroke, but it's his defensive ability that I think is going to really interest teams. On the perimeter, lockdown. Once he has an opportunity to force a turnover, he can, but he's got the size and length to switch onto bigger guys down low. He's not the most nimble of athletes. He's not going to jump out at the gym. He's not going to beat the fastest players in a foot race, but he's just such a well-rounded player who does everything well. I haven't even talked about his best attribute, which is his ability as a playmaker, so I think he's going to be a really, really good pro. Roman Boukman out of Wisconsin is a very intriguing big man. He's more of a power forward, but I also think he can be an undersized center as well. This is somebody who's a really good interior defender. He can handle the ball and make plays offensively in transition. Not a consistent jump shooter. You're going to see him scoring more inside on the paint towards the low block. He can switch onto the perimeter defensively, which is certainly a very big deal. And I think his versatility, despite being a 6'11", 240-pound big man, is why he's going to succeed in the modern NBA. And I think Boukman will be a top 10 pick when it's all said and done. The last player we're going to talk about today is Trey Bell out of the Ohio State University. He's a very prototypical two-guard. He's a gritty on-ball defender. He can shoot the ball. He's a good slasher. He can drive to the basket. I don't think he is a game-breaking ceiling, but I'm pretty confident he's going to be a good two-way player at the next level. Think of like a Norman Powell type player with him. I think the A-plus three-point grade is a little bit high, but he is a very good scorer from all three levels. Good playmaker, good defender. He's just super well-rounded, and he doesn't have really many weaknesses to his game. So there you go. Those are the projected top 10 picks as of now. Player stocks go up and down throughout the season, so we're going to see some other guys' stocks really go up and maybe overtake some of those players in the top 10. Let's focus now on the current team at hand. The Knicks are entering their Christmas Day game against the 76ers, a little bit shorthanded without RJ Barrett. It's going to be a tough matchup because Philadelphia is a really, really good team. They've gotten off to a great start in the Eastern Conference this year, currently with a record of 21-10. And we're going to have to find a way to stop Joel Embiid because he is one of the most impressive players in the league. Second place MVP finisher 2 years in a row. He has career highs in rebounds per game, assists per game, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. So he's doing what he did the past couple of seasons, but with even more efficiency. James Harden has really rebounded as a scorer. His efficiencies have been off the charts this year. And Tyrese Maxey is a very good young third option at just 22 years old. A very talented and crafty combo guard. So we need our perimeter defense to lock down those two guards. And being without RJ Barrett is certainly going to be a big deal. He's going to be back soon, probably before our next game. But it's December. There's no reason to risk a small injury, even if it is a primetime game. Here come the Knicks, warming up in the locker room here as they host the Philadelphia 76ers at Madison Square Garden for this Christmas Day edition of NBA basketball. Primetime television for the world to see on what's supposed to be a pretty happy day. Everybody around the country is in a pretty good mood, so hopefully Knicks fans can stay in a good mood with a Knicks win tonight. The Knicks are a team who seem to always get primetime games, even when a lot of people don't think they deserve it. So it's time to prove the haters wrong against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Mitchell Robinson wins the opening tip, and we are underway. Sixers and Knicks. Here come the 76ers in transition. An early lob from Harden to Joel Embiid, who puts in the layup. Another talented center out of Kansas. 2-0 score. Here's Jalen Brunson off the screen from Robinson. He puts the Knicks on the board for the first time today, tying the game at 2. Following Philadelphia possession, here's Harden, guarded by Brunson, goes to the basket and floats in the layup. James Harden's always talked about as one of the best shooters in the NBA. He gets to the free-throw line a lot, but he has an underrated ability of being crafty to getting to the basket. Harden misses the three, but Joel Embiid is there for the putback. Good start early on for Philadelphia. The Knicks looking to answer. Reddish pump fake in the corner for a wide open Jalen Brunson, who hits the three. Brunson and Reddish both have ties to the Philadelphia area. Brunson played his college ball at Villanova. Reddish, a native of Norristown, Pennsylvania, played his high school ball at Westtown. There's James Harden with the floater layup as it's 8-5. Harden and Embiid both with 4 early points. Randall sets the screen for Brunson, who goes inside. Back to Randall for the slam. Hopefully Randall and Brunson can really lead the offense today with no R.J. Barrett, who's been the next best player this year. Robinson blocks Embiid down low. Here comes New York in transition. Randall out to the wing for Killer Cam Reddish. He hits the three. The Knicks on a nice little run as the game's tied at 10. Brunson in the corner for Randall with room. Lets it fly for 3. The Knicks 3 for 4 from beyond the arc to start the game, shooting it well from deep. Here's Tobias Harris in the corner for Harden. Harden with the signature step back, ties it at 13. We know James Harden has plenty of range, and that step back move is one of the best signature moves in the NBA. Maxey loses it, gets it back, floats it up, beats the shot clock to put the Philadelphia 76ers back ahead. Now tied at 15. Fadeaway 3, no good. Back in the hands of Montrezl Harrell, who throws it down. Harrell quickly driving to the basket just like he was driving a boatload of drugs this summer, leading to his arrest. There's Derrick Rose inside for the layup. That'll tie the game up at 17. Here comes the Knicks on the fast break. Evan Fournier, the Frenchman, he connects from deep, and the Knicks are back on top. 20-17. There's Tucker in the corner. Gets it back over to Montrezl Harrell. Over to Milton with the shake and bake. Shake Milton ties it at 20. It's been a back and forth start so far. 22-20, 76ers on top. Knicks looking for the lead, and they're going to get it. Evan Fournier with the and one. It was Milton called for the foul. 22-23, final seconds of the quarter. Fournier in the corner for Quentin Grimes, who connects on the triple. New York leads by 4. Final possession of the quarter. It's the Sixers with the basketball. Harden guarded by Rose. Great on-ball defense there by D. Rose. He may be a little bit smaller, but he's able to get the stop. Not a bad start. The Knicks look pretty good so far. They lead 26-22. Now 26-24. Here's Milton inside with the quick right-handed floater. Good opening minute to the second quarter for the 76ers. Game is now tied up. Here's Quickly inside. Makes the contested layup over his college teammate, Tyrese Maxey. Knicks lead by 1, 28-29. Great pass inside from Milton, and the layup is good by Tobias Harris, who has the Sixers back up. 30-39. Robinson looking to set the screen here. Emmanuel Quickly on the move. Hits the jumper. IQ with 4 quick points here in the second quarter, and the Knicks lead by 1, 32-33. Harris inside, tipped into the hands of Joel Embiid, who has the Sixers back ahead by 1. Although it's been a back-and-forth start, I feel like it is a pretty low-scoring game so far. Both defenses playing pretty well. As Randall connects from beyond the arc, Julius Randle, the first Knick in double figures today. He is 10, and New York leads by 2. Reddish in the corner, back out to Randall, lets it fly again. Julius Randle is red hot, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. The Knicks' entire team was in takeover there for a split second as they lead by 5. Randall is not done. He cocks it back and throws it down with a one-handed tomahawk slam. And the Knicks now lead by 7, one of their biggest leads of the game. Now it's a 5-point game, 36-41. Rose goes short inside for Julius Randle, who floats up the layup. It is good. Randle now with a game-high 17 points. He has been phenomenal tonight for New York, one of his best starts of the season so far. Derrick Rose makes a nice move, shot no good, rebounded by Randle inside, taking advantage of the size mismatch with the shorter Montrezl Harrell, and Randle capitalizes. 36-45, Harden in the corner. That is Melton for 3. Not Milton, Melton. D'Anthony Melton for 3. 39-45, time winding down. Here's Randle, floats up the layup. It's good. That was awfully close. We'll see if he beat the buzzer here with this replay review. Randle really should not have gone for the extra little move there, but as you can see, that ball appears to be out of his hand with a 1/10 of a second to go. The initial ruling on the floor is that the basket did not count, so we'll see if that's enough evidence to overturn it or not.
The ruling on the floor is overturned.
This woman is literally staring into my soul. I am creeped the hell out by her, but nonetheless, the shot counts. The initial call on the floor is overturned. The Knicks lead by 8. 39-47, your score going into halftime. So I found this interesting. Look at the standings. The Knicks are the 10th seed. We were the 13th seed like a day ago, and we jumped up to 10 without even finishing another game. I don't know how that makes sense, but if we get a top 10 seed, that means we make the play-in tournament, which would be pretty cool. You know what else is cool is the Knicks' defense today. The Sixers only had 39 points in the first half. We'll see if New York can keep up this defensive intensity going into the second half. And that's not a great start. Tyrese Maxey hits a 3 about 12 seconds into the third quarter. New York looking to answer. Here's Mitchell Robinson, sends it in the corner for Jalen Brunson. He had 5 first-quarter points, has been quiet since, but he connects on the 3, and the former 2-time national champion at Villanova, just outside of Philly, connects. There's Killer Cam Reddish once again from beyond the arc. New York up by 11, their first double-digit lead of the night. Reddish fell asleep on defense there the following possession, and Matisse Thybulle makes him pay. Thybulle's not a great outside shooter, but he gets it to fall, and it's back to a 10-point game. Harden with the pick from Embiid. Fadeaway 3-ball is good, and the former NBA MVP connects from beyond the arc. 50-55, here's Tobias Harris over to Harden. Lobs it up for the big fella. Joel Embiid cuts it to a 1-score game. The Sixers with 7 points unanswered. The Knicks looking to answer. Who else but Cam Reddish? Reddish with 3 triples today. His outside shot's been pretty good over the past couple of weeks here in December as he sends it in the corner for Jalen Brunson. The Knicks are hot again. They're hitting their 3-point shots. And when this team is hot from the perimeter, they're pretty hard to stop. I think that goes without saying. Joel Embiid with the reverse dunk. That'll bring the lead to 7. It's felt like the Knicks have had control through the entire game, but Philadelphia's done a good job of hanging around. Here comes Derrick Rose. Drives to the left side. Gets the layup. Draws the foul. It's an and 1. Maxey is called for the foul, and it's back to a double-digit lead. Here's Tobias Harris inside, guarded by Grimes, and he shoots it off the backboard. Very high IQ play there from the 12-year vet, and New York's going to get the ball off the turnover. Here's Grimes with the screen. The Knicks looking to get the pick and roll. Game working. Obi Toppin with the slam. Toppin hasn't had any crazy Christmas dunks yet. Hopefully that'll change as the second half goes along. Grimes with a nice drive to the right side of the basket, and the second-year pro puts in the layup. 56-70. The Knicks lead by 14, their biggest of the game. Maxey with a nifty step back, nothing but net. It feels like the Knicks have quietly built up the lead as this game has gone along. It's been a very consistent game in sense of lead changes. Grimes no good. Mitchell Robinson is there for the putback, and the lead is back up to 14. Philadelphia would get a couple baskets, the deficit back to 10. Rose inside, another and 1. Derrick Rose has done a great job really the entire season of scoring in contact. 62-75. Harden with a nifty step back. He had Derrick Rose floating in the air for a good couple of seconds. 64-75. Final seconds of the quarter. Quickly inside, looking to make a play. His shot, no good. But another productive quarter there by the New York Knicks. They lead this game by 11. Going into the fourth quarter, looking to finish off the job once and for all. Here's DeAnthony Melton inside for Montrezl Harrell for the slam. Two of Philadelphia's new offseason acquisitions making a play. 66-75. Randall with the screen. Fournier heaves it up, and it's good. Evan Fournier hits the three, and it's a 12-point game. The Sixers got to go on a little run. They haven't had many great offensive spurts, which is why they haven't really made a valiant comeback. Harden brings the lead to single digits off of the three. 69-78. Quickly inside for Julius Randle. Quiet second half so far for him. He had 21 points in the first half, only 4 points now in the second. Hopefully he can get a little bit more involved. Reddish with a nice pass in the corner for Evan Fournier. He hits the three. And New York is now up by 15 points with about 4.5 minutes to go. Tyrese Maxey drives inside. Nobody was down low to defend. But New York still is in clear control. If they can just get a couple nice minutes here on offense, they should be able to win the game. As Randall makes the layup, he now has 28 and 11, both of which are game highs. Here's Embiid backing down on Randall. Shot no good. Great defensive possession there by Julius Randle. He's not just having a good game on offense. On the other end, Reddish looking to drive by Thibault. He makes the shot. Cam Reddish has had a great offensive game. He's scoring the ball well with a great perimeter defender guarding him in Thibault, and he's passed it well too. Brunson drives inside for the nice layup. That'll make it a 17-point game. The Sixers looking to answer. It's an and one through Matisse Thibault. Cam Reddish called for the foul. Reddish has definitely won that individual matchup today, but I guess cool to see Thibault making a play. Randall hits the three. That one looks like it could be the dagger as it's a 17, now 15-point lead. But if you're not satisfied, maybe this is the dagger. Jalen Brunson throws it down, and that's all she pretty much wrote. The Knicks with a statement win on Christmas Day as they beat the 76ers 103-89. This is a good win. We won all 4 quarters of this game. We never really had any dominant stretches, but we were in control the entire time, and we never let the Sixers go on a run. This is the type of game that good teams win. Beating a good Sixers team like this, where we were the better team really from start to finish. Julius Randle was great. He had 31 and 13. Brunson, Reddish, and Fournier also in the double figures. The team was efficient from the field and from three, and we stopped their 2 best players. It was actually Tobias Harris who led them in scoring. Harden, 19 points on 18 shots. Embiid, 10 points on 16 shots. Maxey, 9 points on 12 shots. We really focused on stopping their best offensive players because they don't have enough depth to play well without those guys having good performances. So a really good win. We're going to simulate through the rest of the calendar year. A little West Coast trip in Texas. We got a trade offer from the Jazz. It's actually a pretty interesting one. Julius Randle for Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. I really like Jared Vanderbilt, but I don't see why the Jazz would do that, and I want to keep the series realistic, so I'm going to say no. We ended up going 2-1 on our little Texas road trip. We lost to the Mavericks, but we beat the Spurs and the Rockets. I know those aren't impressive wins. Those 2 teams aren't very good, but 2-1 on a West Coast road trip is pretty good. So the next episode, we're going to kick off the 2023 year. We've got some big games early on in the month of January. We're currently 17 and 20, a little bit less than halfway through the season. I think January is going to be a very telling month if this team really can compete for a play-in spot or if we're going to be big-time sellers at the trade deadline. Let me know what you think we should do in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the draft prospects we went over today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.